We're
Wing
gonna
It
wing it.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wing It
Okay.
Tuesday.
Now, it's been a whole. Actually, it would. This will be 2 weeks
Two,
since we
yeah.
because we skipped last week, so we're supposed to be live because we scheduled and then rescheduled, and it's a long story. I'll explain to everybody once we get a few more people on. Hey, I got a Facebook. No, I got a YouTube notification. That's always a good sign.
Well,
So
we
that.
did get a couple of notification or a couple of messages, and people said, "Look, said, are y'all going to be on tonight?" It says, "I
Yeah.
need my Bossier watch fix. I'm having withdrawals." And
Well, it's kind of my fault. I was feeling a little under the weather, shall we say. I'm still not up to snuff at all, but good enough for the show. I don't feel really bad. It's just I may cough a lung up or something, but other than that, we'll be okay.
well, you sound much better than you did. Well, see, you just spent too much time out there jacking jaws. That's what the problem was.
Well, either that or not enough. I mean, it was going along great. I was on fish, catching fish, and then, well, all hell broke loose.
Well, anyway, hey, we got a lot to talk about tonight, and we got one subject in particular, and we are going to finish it. We've been trying to get this stuff with the police jury and the library. We've been trying to get to this for a while now. I mean, 2 weeks, actually, it's in theory been 3 weeks because if you think about it,
Oh, yeah.
the last show we had the technical difficulties and we were
Right.
YouTube only. And then the next week we had the election thing and we were going to reschedule and do the Thursday thing. And then, the bottom fell out for you. And
Right.
so it, yeah, it's been a long time in the making, but here we are and we're going to get through this. So we'll do a little bit of house cleaning from
Yeah.
stuff that we've needed to cover and the election aftermath, whatever you want to call it. We'll cover a
Yeah.
little bit of that. Maybe a little party politics. I mean, seems to be a lot of people kind of got their feathers ruffled over, the Jeff Landry endorsement by LAGOP.
Yeah. Acronym soup. Well,
And
yeah, yeah. There's been some feathers ruffled about that too, and some panties in the proverbial wattage.
well, I'm talking a lot because I'm trying to give you as much your
Eh,
vocal cords as
well,
much rest
and
as
look,
possible.
I want to be clear too on this, library and police jury thing. That I want to be careful that we don't rake Butch Ford over the coals too much. I mean, it's not like he's gone out and killed puppies or something. Or, wait a minute, has he?
Pup, I'm kind of thinking there
Well,
might be a
man,
problem there with even the dogs. I
I
mean,
was
but
trying to give him benefit of the doubt and at least not be a puppy
no,
killer, but sure. Oh, I
no,
forgot about that.
I'm not. I don't think puppies are exempt from his. He is the meat axe, and it don't
Great.
matter if you're a dog or a cat. It don't matter.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Oh,
Wow.
and First Church.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
there's a little bit of First Church activity,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
that I think we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. But the meat of the agenda is to let everybody know kind of what the police jury is up. I think one of our titles of one of our shows was the Dirty Police Jury,
Yeah.
and it's kind of our take on it. But after we share everything with you guys, we want you to kind of tell us what you think. I mean, do you think it all sounds square? Uh, we don't, but you
It's
know.
turning into a just a free for all, and well, of course, I've got a little bit of a soapbox, and it won't be long at all. About the police jury situation and the Butch Ford situation, and well, of course, the Cypress District too. I just want to just touch on that a little bit and show you how hypocritical all of this is. But we'll get to that
Yeah.
when we talk about the budgets and that sort of thing. So anyway, with all that
And and
said,
and not to mention there was a King David sighting in Bossier City today.
yeah, it was brief, but there was a sighting. Yeah, it was brief. I mean, as a matter of fact, the city council meeting was pretty much a snooze fest, but there was a moment that will
Uh,
show it just a little bit.
mo moments are all we need.
Moments are all we need. Okay, we got about 60 people watching. Let me see if I can remember what button to hit here to start our countdown. Folks, y'all know the drill. So we'll be back in about 2.5 or 3 minutes. That'll give me time to cough up an extra long. Also gives y'all time to get a stiff drink, get some popcorn, and share the show out with some friends and family members and, well, whoever else. And we'll get started here in about 2 to 3 minutes. What do you say there, Duke?
Let's do it to it. Y'all share this thing out. Let's get some folks in here. They're going to want to know this information.
All right, here we go.
They feel helpless, they don't feel heard, they have nowhere to turn.
In all honesty, we try to lay low a little bit because of the fear that we would not be able to camp there.
And I titled it A Shot Across the Bow of the Good Old Boys.
Hello everybody. I don't think I've ever done a video before on here, but yeah, I wanted to tell y'all what frustrates me a little bit about permits.
The cockroach of the week is, drumroll please, Allie Feaster Smith.
We can't be apathetic about what's going on in our state. We have to all pull up our bootstraps and get on top of this. So you're right. There's a problem out there. I mean, and man, you can see it everywhere.
Well, look, we have allowed government to become our wherewithal to everything.
Well, I've not heard my name in stable or Baton Rouge in stable in the same sentence in a long time.
You're about to be killed by a Zamboni, or you're gonna die in 5 minutes.
This Bossier Watch live broadcast is brought to you by David B. Womack for all your contracting and construction needs. The Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 23 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Michael Ferris. Smarter Geek, making technology easier. And the many supporters, donations, and folks sharing information and watching out for Bossier. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go.
34 pages.
Oh,
So 34, 35 pages, 6, something like that.
yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Let me get it over to my Mac Mini at least. Okay.
Anyway, hey, everybody's here. 70,
Everybody is
80
here.
people. Not sure how many on all the platforms, but I'm seeing 70 or 80. But anyway, glad y'all are here. And sorry that we haven't been here. It's been a lot going on.
A lot going on. As a matter of fact, and I've got software that should suppress most of the coughing noises that will be emanating from me. But anyway, I'm getting that file and putting it over in the folder right now. So we'll at least have it
Gotcha.
if we want to review it.
So, I put in the notes house cleaning, and so just to cover a hodgepodge of things. I mean, because it's been a couple of weeks since we kind of been on here and just ramble about several things. I mean, so the last time we were live, we actually had Zandra Ashley on, and we got a lot of emails regarding that.
Yes, we
Proton,
did.
when I say emails, Proton emails.
Right.
And, they were, I don't know if I would say not friendly emails, but they were emails basically saying that we didn't know who she was and that who she was um, articulating herself to be, she was not. And they supplied a lot of screenshots of stuff. And, I don't know. That race is over. I think there's a new school board member down there, and it'll be interesting to see how he deals with the issues that comes before the school board in that race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and see if Zandra follows up and continues to be outspoken as she always is, and continues to put just regular old public pressure on the school board. So we'll see.
Yeah. Um, I will say this. He faulting, I saw a quote where or a comment, and the thing was it gave me a little bit of pause because he made a quote again. He said, uh he said he had gotten, or he said something to the effect that he had a lot of teachers that had reached out to him, about Xandra or what have you. But he said, "You don't have to worry. I'm there for you. I'm standing for you." Well, maybe he was not saying nothing, or maybe he was. I don't know. I would love to have him on the show and we could have this talk live. And he's welcome to join in this show now that he's elected. But I just hope he realizes that he represents more than just the teachers. I mean,
Right.
he's actually representing the people. The people are who elected him and
Right.
voted for him. It's not just the teachers. It's not just, the administration. I mean, you've got more responsibilities than just standing up for the teachers.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not cutting teachers. I'm not saying that. That's not my point at all. My point is that if you're going into this to represent one group and one group alone, I mean, no,
Yeah.
that's not.
That
I'm saying it. That's not right.
that's definitely not going to cut it. So let me do some adjustments on the network here. But also, while I'm doing that, I would like to reiterate that yeah, you don't just represent the teachers. We're of course not anti-teacher. We're obviously for teachers. But I would, yeah, remind him that they already have one head cheerleader at the school board. They don't need another one.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I moving along, John Kennedy won re-election against a hodgepodge of people who threw their names in a hat. Larry James Hawkins, he posted up there. He said,
Mhm.
Senator John Kennedy, for now, can do more good for Louisiana as a U.S. Senator than the governor of Louisiana. And what he's referencing is the fact that, John Kennedy, he floated the thing out there that he may or may not throw his name in the hat for governor. Um, Rex, your audio is a lot lower.
Saw that. So I'm looking at the audio levels. They should be okay. Now, granted, I'm not speaking nearly as loudly as I do tonight because I'm trying to, save my breath and all
Yeah,
that
so
good
for a
stuff.
lot of
So,
well, a lot of folks may not have been up to speed. So here's the lay of the land, and we may go ahead and just notch this one little thing off. So here's the kerfuffle, folks. As you know, for the next governor's race, Jeff Landry's already announced that he's running for governor. Well, the LA GOP has came out. Kara says much better. The LA GOP has come out, and the LA GOP has endorsed Jeff Landry. Well, I mean, look, we're talking about a race that's over a year away. Rarely ever does the party come out and endorse somebody that early. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and cue it up, and we'll hear some comments. One person actually had, and I'm going to do a share screen here. Rex. Let's see if I can get it. Well, I don't know where I got to pull it up at. So, of course, Billy Nungesser's lost his mind over it, and
yeah, he did an interview or two where he was not happy and invoked the memory of his dad. Oh, yeah, okay. Let me see if I can share your screen.
Maybe I have to get last week or so after the state Republican Party voted to endorse Attorney General Jeff Landry for next year's governor's race. And I know, Billy, you're not happy at all with not so much even the decision, but the way they went about this.
Listen, the party in the last few years has been run by a small group of power-hungry people that think it's theirs to spend the money as they see fit. They travel on the party. Some of them have consulting contracts with the party. When my dad and a large group of people around this state worked hard to build a party, they spent the money out of their pockets. That big elephant we pull around the state was built with private money to help build a party we all believe in. And these people have taken it, at a time when we want integrity in elections and fair elections, here they, at the dead of night, make phone calls. They say they got enough calls to support the Attorney General, yet they won't release the list. They had a convention planned in Shreveport the week before. They canceled it because enough people said, we're not ready to make an endorsement. But so they did it with phone calls. It stinks. It's horrible for the party. And the people of Louisiana deserve better.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Now, what did you think about that? I mean, that sounded reasonable, right?
Well, it sounded reasonable. It also sounded like whining a little bit, but okay.
Well, the current endorsement policy, as I know it, let's take a walk down memory lane. Do you know who was one of the people that formulated the current endorsement policy of the LAGOP?
Have no idea.
It was a fellow with the last name of Nungesser.
Oh, that would be Billy.
His daddy.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I mean, and I'm not taking anything away from Billy. I mean, look, we've invited Billy to come on this show multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
His publicist lady or what have you, I've got all the texts and the emails and the quantity of times that I have tried to invite him to come on the show to talk about things.
Right.
But he won't come on. I mean, he would be treated fairly, but he won't come on. We wanted to talk to him about Jimmy Davis Bridge.
Right.
He is said to have made commitments on Jimmy Davis Bridge. And I want to know exactly where he stood on that. But let's not get out of the I mean, I'm putting the cart before the horse here a little bit. But he's sitting here saying that the party is doing something nefarious, contracts that nobody knows about or what have you. And then look, I've been on the State Central Committee. I've been on there. And of course, that's a whole nother story. But I mean, it was his dad, the process. And here's the question that I would ask. If somebody who is a representative of the Republicans in a district, let's just say, up here, if they feel so inclined or they feel that the majority of people in their district want one candidate or the other, or they feel that individual is the most Republican or most conservative, or there's some reason that moves them to seek to get the endorsement of the party for that individual. And as the rules of the committee are, then they can go and solicit all the other state central committee members across the state to support an endorsement for that candidate. Well, that's what you have here. You have a member of the state central committee that went and sought the endorsement for Jeff Landry for, the governor's race. And obviously they were successful in getting a majority of the members to make an endorsement. Now, I said just a second ago I was going to ask a question. Well, here's the question. Why has Billy Nungesser not done that? There's nothing preventing him from doing that. Why has he not had anybody go to all the members of the state central committee and ask for their endorsement? There's nothing stopping him from doing that. To my knowledge, there's nothing saying that the LAGOP can endorse 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 Republicans for governor. If they are conservative enough, he should be able to articulate his beliefs to those members. Look, I've had statewide people call me on the state central committee, statewide candidates asking for their endorsement, and I would have to vet them, and I would give it to them or I would not give it to them. That's just the way it goes. He should call them all and ask them himself personally. But why has he not done that? Jeff Landry obviously he secured the votes.
Because he can obviously get better sound bites by being reactive to that rather than actually being proactive and going out and doing all that hard work.
That's right. So I don't criticize him for going out like with this radio show and criticizing the process and criticizing the LAGOP. He actually, it's kind of what he has to do.
Right.
You think about it. If he plans to run, he's got no choice. This is what he has to do. Well, in turn, if this is what he's going to do and he's going to, attack the LAGOP and attack the process, then, because of that, there's going to be a reaction. Well, guess what that reaction is? And that reaction is what, Larry was talking about, John Kennedy. So John Kennedy is sitting up here. I think John Kennedy's in the catbird seat. John Kennedy, if he throws his name in the hat, all bets are off for everybody. None guesser, he's not going to beat John Kennedy. John Kennedy is your next governor. So John Kennedy is basically telegraphing a message, in my opinion, to none guesser saying, hey, you want to jump in this and you're going to get in here? Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw my name in the hat. And for everybody out there, here's what's going to happen. So if Kennedy were to get into the governor's race, and he's going to win, and when he wins, he's going to appoint who the senator is that's going to finish his term or fill his term. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering who you think that's going to be. Is it going to be none guesser? Or do y'all think it's going to be Jeff Landry?
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
Well, that's an interesting set of circumstances, to say the least. Let's see if we've got any comments here. Goodness. Our good friend Ryan, I know I have not coughed all afternoon getting ready for this show. All right. Our good friend Ryan Haygood says, Billy didn't sound like he was whining. He is right. The process is corrupt. Landry won't even end up running. He is going to back out, and Kennedy will appoint him to fill his term. Bank on it.
Yeah, but Ryan, the flaw in that process is that Kennedy's got to run for governor. That's either Kennedy's going to run or Kennedy's not going to run. And Kennedy could float it all the way to the end, but either way, Kennedy's got to say, hey, I'm running. And oh, by the way, guess what's going to happen right there? And it proves my point. If the LAGOP's already endorsed Jeff Landry, what, can they not go and endorse John Kennedy? Yeah, they can. The same as they can go and endorse Billy Nungesser if they want. Just do the freaking work. I like Billy Nungesser. I think he's a fun guy. When I've sat down with him at lunches before, you ask him a question, he'll shoot you straight. He's one of those guys. I don't know him well enough to say he would just shoot you straight, but I'm just saying anytime I've sat with him and I've asked him a pointed question, he's been straightforward and he would answer my question directly. And I don't ask some of these guys softball questions. I sat at a lunch one time. I'm going to give you an example, and this might put a shot across the bow across the state of Louisiana, and we may make national news again, and we may be on Al Jazeera and BBC. Thank you, Mike Johnson and Alan Seaball. But hey, I asked Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise just supposedly was elected to majority leader today. I was at a lunch with Steve Scalise, and I said, what? I asked a question. It was I'm not going to hurt our show. I asked a very
yeah.
pointed question in this private meeting, and Steve Scalise didn't answer the question. His assistant immediately jumped in to prevent him from having to answer the question so that he wouldn't be on the record or he wouldn't whatever. I wasn't trying to put him on the record, but I wanted to know where he stood. Well, you know where he stood? Where he stood was he wouldn't answer the question, which is a non-answer. I hadn't had that problem. I have asked Billy a pointed question and he gave me a direct answer. You know, Jeff Landry's the exact same way. He's the kind of guy you ask him a straight up question, he's going to give you a direct answer and he's not going to BS about it. Not all politicians are like that, especially at this level.
Yeah, good point. And I would argue, of course, that how they answer the questions or don't answer the questions, actually, not answering the questions can be more revealing than the way that they actually answer them.
Well, that's right, and I'm not going to take anything away from Billy Nungesser or Jeff Landry. I think these are both two guys that love Louisiana. I mean, they love, eat, and breathe Louisiana. They're different, but they are quintessential Louisiana residents. And but there was one other point that I would make in this interview here. I mean, we'll end up putting the link in after the show in the comments maybe. But one other question that I would ask is, they go on to have dialogue in this conversation talking about open and closed primaries. Billy doesn't believe that the party, both, Republican, in this case, he was talking about Republicans, Republican and Democrat. He did not believe that the Republican Party needed to have closed primaries. And so for a lot of y'all out there, some of you may not. But let me break this down. So the difference between open and closed primaries means that in a closed primary, if you are a registered Republican, only you can vote for who's going to be the person that represents you. A Democrat, an independent, a libertarian, nobody else can vote for that person. I mean, only Republicans get to pick who that person is. In an open primary, everybody gets to vote for whoever they want. Democrats can vote for a Republican or what have you. Well, that's what you have in a lot of these states where, an organized effort the Democrats, let's say they all get together and they say, okay, we're going to clear the field. We're going to make sure only one Democrat's in the race. And then, so all the Democrats, we don't have to worry about having to split the vote between two Democrats and decide, because we've already decided our person. But what we are going to do is we're going to pick which Republican we want to run against our Democrat. So all Democrats, y'all go vote for candidate X or Y or Z that's a Republican, because that's the easiest person for us to face and beat in the runoff, Republican versus Democrat. They do that, and then guess what? The Republican gets their teeth kicked in. Right. And look, playing devil's advocate, in those type situations, Republicans have the ability to do the same thing. So I'm telling you all this and explaining that because Billy Nungesser, he has articulated strongly. In fact, at the LAGOP, he got so mad when the LAGOP was debating this issue, I think last year, that he threw a tantrum and was asked to leave the meeting because he was fighting for open primaries so that Democrats or independents could vote for who they wanted to be the Republican nominee. I mean, and his position is that, the Republican Party is supposed to be a big tent open to everybody. And, maybe he's right, maybe he's not. But I don't think that somebody who says that, I identify with, the Democrat Party principles, or, I believe in, or let's just pick one issue. Let's just say we believe in gun control. I'm gonna throw two: gun control and abortion. And I don't think those people should be able to pick who the Republican nominee is, and they get to help someone who supports gun control as a Republican. So you're still fighting ideals here. He believes in an open primary. Why would he do that?
Well, there's an obvious reason, but we'll be nice and just say that it could go either way.
That's right. So that is the kerfuffle on that. And I'm going to, if you want to close that screen out, put us back up in the middle big time. We're going to move on past this. Kaylee Larkin says Senator John Kennedy needs to clean his voting record up before he considers doing anything. I would agree, Kaylee Larkin. In fact, we articulated on this show about when John Kennedy came to Bossier, and John Kennedy spoke at that little get together that I know Cheatham, Bamberg, and a bunch of folks put together in Bossier, and he to his credit, I mean, I give Kennedy all the credit in the world, because if you're a politician like he is, and you've got a room full of 200 or more people, I mean, there may have been 300 people in that room that day. When you take questions from the floor from anybody in the audience, any questions whatsoever, I'm telling you, much respect. That's being real. That's it. Well, there was some guy that got up there and asked him, Senator, you continue to support, sending all this money to Ukraine. And he articulated a good position. He said, basically, and I'm paraphrasing it, this isn't exactly, he said, basically, if you could see what I see from the, intelligence reports at being a U.S. Senator, what he gets, you would support it as well, too. And he was talking about how bad the Russians were. And he didn't go into detail, but he was just saying, if you could see it, you would be there, too. And, I guess we have to just trust those guys at that level. And, but now after this election, when we learn, and I don't know if that was one of the, it may have been, yeah, the FTX thing. How many people have followed that? In which this is going to be a share screen thing again. I'm going to work you tonight, Rex.
Yeah,
It don't matter.
no kidding. Let's see. Click buttons here.
Sickness does not give you an excuse.
Wait,
so
did I hear disco music? Oh.
You did. So we're ready to go on if you want to pull my share screen up there. So Senator Kennedy, and I'm not taking a shot at Senator Kennedy at all, because I trust the man. I think he's a good man. I think he has the best interests of Louisiana and the United States in mind. But he articulated when that guy stood up and he said, look, he said, if you've seen what I have seen about, Ukraine and Russia and that thing over there, you'd be there too. And, you got to take him at his word for it. But now after this election, we're learning. And if a lot of you don't know what FTX is, so the United States, this is allegedly, so the United States has been sending all this money to Ukraine, right? To support the Ukraine, frighten the illegal Russians. And oh, by the way, there's no Nazis over there anymore. That's supposed to be fake news. Okay. See me after the show and I'll send you links. But anyway, so then all of a sudden it comes out after the election that, hey, you know what? FTX, the guy, all of a sudden, which is a Bitcoin type thing. If a lot of you, cryptocurrency, if a lot of you don't understand what that is, it's a money tree thing. Is that fair?
Yeah, close enough.
Okay, money tree thing. Anyway, so the Ukrainians are said to have been taking all the money that the U.S. was giving them and putting it into this FTX, which is this cryptocurrency, right? Well, then the FTX people, which is that's the name of the cryptocurrency, they've been turning around, putting it into the Democrat campaigns. Now, I'm not saying just the Democrats, but because I can show you where Mitch McConnell and certain Republicans were also getting money donated to them from this FTX thing. And we're not talking about just no small money, guys. We're talking about a lot of money. So real quick, I'm going to play you this video, and this kind of basically breaks it down for you a little bit. So that guy is the FTX guy,
Mhm.
and he's seen with Bill Clinton. You
Right.
know, the WEF. A lot of folks have heard about that. Those are the people that believe in the New World Order stuff. Like, I mean, it is convoluted, but they ended up catching the guy after he sucked all the money out or made a run on it, sucked all the, I understand, billions out after they ended up catching up with him, I think Argentina or whatever. He was fleeing the country or what have you. That's the story. And again, like I said, the majority of the money was going to Democrats, but there's no Republicans that were exempt from this as well, too. Mitch McConnell and the Senate Electoral Fund, that was in there, and you even have Republicans. So all of you out there, and I don't care whether you're Republicans or Democrats. I know we have Democrats watching, and I know we have Republicans watching. Guys, we've got a stinking, corrupt, volatile, hot pile of poo right here in the middle of all of our living rooms, and it's both parties.
Yeah, and
Both parties.
it's been that way. To be clear, this is nothing new. It's been that way for a long time, a long time.
A long time. And the goal is to keep all of you regular people, and I'm saying regular people, a lot of y'all watching this show, believe it or not, I think there's some intelligent people that watch our show. I really do. I think y'all
Imagine
are
that.
you're smarter than us two rocket scientists.
Yeah.
I know that, and which makes me wonder why the heck you watch us. But I also know there's some regular people out here. But the bottom line is, it's this big freaking stupid game about keeping all of us at each other's throats all the time,
Well,
and they're
sure.
successful at doing it.
Look, I'd like to point out a deal here. So our good friend Ryan Haygood says Kennedy took money from Bill Gates. Yeah, and 90% of all of us use Windows operating systems, including the one who just made the comment. So you literally, are giving money to Bill Gates. I mean, my point is not to pick on Ryan at all, but my point is, you're right, dude. They like to try to keep us all turned up by these little shell games that they play in the media and all that, when in the end, they're all in on the same game.
Now,
most of them, 99.999% of them.
Absolutely. And I'm not watching my clock and, to the over 100 and whatever the number is people watching, thank you for watching. But Donald Trump tonight is making some big announcement. And I think it was like 9:00 Eastern time. Now, I'm not steering you guys. I mean, look, I got into a hot, heated debate this week, and it was actually a national show that I spoke on, Rex. You and I hadn't talked. I gave you a break. Believe it or not, I didn't call you. I gave you a break, but I spoke on it, and I said, look, because people were bashing on Trump, and I said, look, and I've told you this, and I've told people watching, I was not a two-time delegate to the convention to support Trump. I was not that because I thought Trump was the best looking guy, that I thought his morals were the greatest. It was none of that crap. You know what it was about? It was about the fact that I knew all those people in Washington, D.C., both Republicans and Democrats alike, they all hated his guts. They hated his guts because he didn't play ball with them.
Right.
That was why I supported him.
Hey, here's some homework for everybody watching. Have y'all seen the, was it Dave Chappelle skit on Donald Trump? That was like maybe a day or two ago. That is, I think, Bongino and a bunch of other right-wing.
I heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
You got to go listen to it. It is absolutely the truth, because the premise of it is that Trump got up there and said, basically, the system's rigged. Yeah, but I'm using the rigged system. In other words, I'm part of it. here's my Illuminati card. I'm part of it. And oh, by the way, Hillary and Brock and everybody else, y'all are part of it too. And that was the key to Trump's, to people really liking and resonating and connecting with Trump, is because, for all of his faults, he didn't hide from the fact that he does everything he can not to pay taxes or to pay the least amount of taxes.
Who watching this show doesn't do that? I want to know who watching this show doesn't do that. I mean, if anybody on here criticizes him for that, they're a hypocrite. I'm sorry. I mean, I just shut you down from commenting. So if your text comes through that you're that person or whatever, I'm sorry that I offended you. No, I'm not. Actually, we offend people every week.
Right.
In fact, that's what some police jurymen say we do. Our goal is to do nothing but attack other people.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, imagine that. It's literally like in the name of our show, basically. Anyway.
Yeah, that's right. So, anyway, Bossier City, Rex. I mean, we got to move on a little bit. I mean, there was that one soundbite you mentioned in Bossier City. Hey, Greg Bell, and thank you, Greg Bell, for helping us out with a little bit of that background. We greatly appreciate it. You are the bomb. Bossier City. You want to cue that up?
Yeah, let's see if we can do the city council meeting. Give me just a second, and I'll see if I can.
There was an amazing little bit of dialogue at Bossier City. You guys are going to fall out of your seat. So if you followed Bossier City and you've especially followed King David and his ascent to owning and controlling Bossier City, including owning, Tommy the Tahoe Chandler. I mean, you're going to love this one. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, so here's the deal: is they were opening some sealed bids, and Michael Ferris, I know that the mic seems muted or whatever. That's because my voice is kind of muted because, well, it's all I can do to talk. But anyway, the setup is that they were discussing or opening some sealed bids, and we got a reaction from King David. It's one of the only exciting moments of the whole meeting today. So let's see if we can play that. I'm close to it right here, but we'll just play it on through.
Good afternoon, Council. Mayor Chandler. Today, the first bid that we're going to open is for the Citizens Bank Drive Drainage Pump Station. There was one addendum for this bid, and the engineer's estimate was $3,900,000.
3.9.
That's
Ben, see out there?
Wow, this is great. Watch this.
Thought originally it was 3 million. For
perhaps David.
Perhaps David.
Go back
David.
and look, but I know that the current estimate on that is 3.9 with all the latest and greatest stuff.
Wait.
Perhaps David.
We did talk about 3 million.
I know we did. I mean, it was like that one.
Wait a minute.
Nothing you can do.
Hold on.
It is what it is, as the old man used to say.
What? Hang on. Stop.
It is
Stop.
what it is.
It is what it is. What can you do? Maybe we need to call a CPA. It's just $1 million. I mean, it is what it is. What can we do?
Yeah, just other people's money. May as well spend it. That's
just $1
funny.
million.
That's funny. Yes, David.
So but wait a minute. I'm joking and criticizing him, Rex, but in all seriousness, y'all want to know the truth here, right? Y'all want us to tell you the truth. You don't want us to BS you and joke about it, right?
Hit us with the
truth.
truth.
You want to know what the truth is here? The truth is Brian Hammond's in there, and he's just taking up Brian Hammond's slack on accountability here. That's what's happening. I mean, Brian Hammond was on vacation or something. so King David's just taking up Brian Hammond's slack. I mean, that's the truth.
That's hilarious. But maybe there is a little truth to it. Maybe a little bit of Brian did rub off on King David.
I mean, what can we do? It's just $1 million. What can
Yeah.
we do?
Yeah.
Maybe we need to elect a councilman or some elected official that will ask the question of what, or may know the answer of what we can do. I don't know. What can
Yeah.
we do?
What can we do?
Well, what about First Church? We gonna talk about that any?
Yeah, let's see. Let me switch screens again. I gotta make sure I'm hitting the right buttons here. Here we go.
Ruth Pope Johnson says it's just another million.
Yeah,
Flog the taxpayer, just $1 million.
Yeah, who cares? Nobody goes to the meetings anyway, so.
Michael Ferris, roll over Montgomery.
Yeah. So do we have any? Is it good news out of First Church? Bad news? Is it just an update? I mean,
Well, we got a little tip that there's a little activity going on with First Church. So, y'all watching, if you want to take the opportunity to go ahead and because I don't know how much we're going to go into this. We unfortunately we hadn't been on top of it as much as we should, but we got a little tip. There was some activity with First Church, and we reached out to a very good friend who started getting us some of the information. And that said, that there was some, filings up in the courthouse. And
lo and behold, we have the filings. Or copies.
Shazam, there they are. Now, we haven't had time to completely pour through them. And
let's see. Second amended petition for declaratory judgment and injunctive relief. Now, that sounds kind of official and kind of important.
ooh, something jumped out at me right there. But that was squirrel. I'm going to leave that alone because something just jumped out at me when I first glanced at that I had not looked at before. But anyway, basically kind of what we understand is that there's a supplemental and an amended petition that's 36 pages or approximately 36 pages that was filed on November the 4th. And basically, in essence, the petition, basically what it's doing, it's calling out, that Jerkovich, made a power grab, and, that he removed anybody that disagreed with him. That was allegedly what he was, or what this thing is saying.
Right.
And that one of his first acts, and you can see it right there in that paragraph there, that in 1937, the articles stated or said who or how the power was delineated in First Church. And, that he made decisions on his own and bypassed the bylaws and didn't follow the kind of what was set in stone there. Now, that was kind of what was described to us. Now, as I remember in the previous show, Rex, and maybe your recollection is a little different, but as I recollect, they had a little bit of a process in how they did this because, remember we rooted out who actually wrote their changing the bylaws, because you remember they were trying to accuse Gaddy of it, and it wasn't actually Gaddy. And nobody kind of really wants to take ownership of who steered this thing. And but we do know that Mike Johnson had a hand in here somewhere.
Yeah.
And but Mike's nowhere to be found on this deal. But a lot of blame was trying to be cast on Gaddy, but Gaddy didn't. It ended up being, I hate to say this, just a contract attorney, but that's more or less kind of the way it was. Right? Is that your recollection?
Yeah, basically. And that I think one of the attorneys who was instrumental in it, as far as we can tell, was leasing office space from Gaddy. So there was, a little bit of a connection there, but no, it wasn't, Gaddy that rewrote the bylaws.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So anyway, there was, and if we'll go to cut one, there was one particular part of this, though, and again, we haven't had time to go through all this because we kind of just got it, but there was one particular part that kind of jumped out, and we did have time to make a cut out of this one particular part. This is pretty interesting. On information and belief, and based on information from sources other than First Baptist Bossier, acting as self-proclaimed president and chairman of the leadership team, Dr. Jerkovich has caused First Baptist Bossier to undertake financial and management transactions that benefit himself, his friends, and members of his family. He has obstructed efforts of members seeking accounting and financial transparency, resorting to expelling from membership those, including the plaintiffs, who have persisted in exercising their contractual and statutory rights to view the organization's management and financial records. Now, that was, I think, some of what we talked about when we were talking about. I think this is what that's referring to. Remember, we were talking about that money over there at that, I can't even remember the name of it now, but the guy with the seminary college over there. And he got booted out of the seminary college over there in that money. I don't know if that's what they're talking about, but I think that's what they're talking about.
Well, at least that's part of it. Hey, the thought just occurred to me. We better be careful what we say, Duke. Because remember, Brad pretty much threatened everybody from the pulpit.
Well, we're not in the pulpit, and we don't. Do you deal with anybody from First Church?
No.
I don't deal with anybody from First Church.
I don't.
I don't know, and I don't know. I don't deal with any of these folks that are in this lawsuit. I mean,
I was just being a little facetious there, but you know that they were prepared to sue anybody that mentioned anything. Don't leak anything out.
But what I do know that I'm not good enough for any of these people. They all think they're better than me. I'm sorry, all of you. You all think you're better than me. I mean, you know, look, I'm a Christian. I'll say a prayer for you, but that's fine. You know, if you don't go sit on a deer stand and you don't get your hands greasy turning wrenches like me on a Peterbilt, and you know what? If you don't like me because of that, then that's your problem. But I just, whatever.
There seemed to be
I'm kind of getting mad. I'm kind of getting mad thinking about it, you know?
Yeah, but in all honesty, does there seem to be anything earth-shattering or new in this particular lawsuit that we've seen so far? Again, we just got a copy of it, so.
Yeah, I don't. I have not read through it other than the screenshot and cut that was sent to us, and I don't know. Maybe next show we'll come back to it after we've read through it a whole lot more and go there. And look, I'm going to tell you, Rex, I think that's our problem. I think it's our problem societally. And that might not even be a word. I'm from Halton, okay? I can make stupid words up like that. It's like Ebonics here, okay? You can make it up. There's too many freaking people out there that hadn't had to get grease under their fingers. There's too many of you people out there that hasn't had to get out there and get your hands freaking dirty and be a regular person. All this prim and proper BS crap, you know, and thinking that you're better than everybody else. You know what? Stuff goes in your mouth and comes out the other end the same as every freaking body else. There's none of us out there are better than anybody else. You know what? We're all the same. We're all the same. Republican, Democrat, it don't freaking matter. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, there is a difference because a lot of you think you're freaking better than everybody else. And for those of you that think you are, I mean, you got a problem. You do. You're the problem.
Yeah, you're the problem.
You don't even know it. You're the problem. The rest of us are just trying to get by. And them jack wagons, I used it. I was going to try to not use it because some people say I overuse the term jack wagons. But them jack wagons in Washington, D.C. and the ones from every one of our communities that we send up there, they're not us. They're not us. Mike Johnson, You want to freaking come with me and work a day? Come work a day with me. I want to show you, brother.
Yeah.
I want to get those soft hands textured so
Yeah.
that when you
Photo
go
photo
back,
ops don't count.
yeah, photo ops don't, no cameras. Come work a day with me, and then I want to send you back to DC with a set of hands to where you can show those people up there what it means to be a regular person. Come on.
Absolutely.
There's a challenge for you. I'm not gonna hold my breath for you to take it.
All right. Shall we move on to the library? Speaking of
Yeah,
jackwagons.
no, there's so many jackwagons and not enough time. Now, the Cypress District, we won't cover that because we're gonna. I got a sneaking suspicion that we're going to have so much time to cover the Cypress District. But
Yep.
what I am going to say as we move into the library and the police jury and Butch Ford, because that's all one big convoluted mess. The Butch Ford, the library, the police jury, the dirty police jury. Should we just always say the dirty police jury? Is that our name for them?
That shall be the official Bossier Watch moniker for the police jury, the dirty police jury.
You know, and I didn't actually have that opinion. I did not. I mean, I know we complimented them a lot when we first started doing this show. We complimented them a lot because they had good video. Now we did criticize them a little bit on the audio, but we weren't. Maybe we focused too much. King David was giving us too much entertainment. Maybe that was the problem, and we wasn't looking close enough. But as we started looking more, you just got to shut me up. I mean, you're giving. This is like going to be Duke Overload show.
Overload Duke. No, you're doing fine. I'm trying to save the voice. It's like Samson without his hair.
Yeah. So cockroaches. There you go. Cockroaches. Julie Ferris, come on now. Truckers. What do you got against truckers, Julie Ferris? I'm a truck driver. I got my CDL. I haul sand. Actually, I went to a well in South Bossier Parish. In fact, I drove a Peterbilt right by somebody's new voting location as of the middle of October here, and we're going to get to that here in a second.
I thought you were going to say near the bridge to, $1 million bridge to nowhere, but that's a whole other point.
Yeah. So, but the Cypress District, as the police jury, let's set this up here. So the police jury has suddenly decided to take over the library. That poses the question, well, why would the police jury want to suddenly take over the library? Why do they need to do that? Why do they feel the urge?
Well, that's the question I've always had, and I've been trying today to research the library usage and getting a library card, because honestly, I hadn't had a library card since I was like, a teenager or whatever. So I've been trying to do my homework, and I can't for the life of, I know why I'm being a little facetious, but I can't for the life of me figure out what the end game is in Butch Ford and the police jury. And now we've heard Juliana Parks' name mentioned several times. What is their goal here? I mean, what are they trying to actually accomplish? According to Butch, and sources say, it's because the money's being not appropriated correctly, or they're spending too much money, or they're top heavy, or whatever. What is the real truth to this? Do we know yet?
Well, I understand that there's been some new books brought into the library, Rex.
Ooh, some of those kind of books.
Well, actually, the books were. Have you seen those books that says how to for beginners? Those yellow books that said,
Yeah, the dummies.
Yeah, those books. Well, one of them was how to read state laws. One of them was how to read state laws.
Oh.
For dummies. That was one of them. And I think that got the attention of the police jury, and they were a little worried about that people may actually get it and start reading the state laws. And then, I think there was another one, there was another one about, how to skirt election laws and things like that, and they got their dander all up.
Oh, really?
It did. So as we tell this story, yeah, I'm sorry, that was my lame attempt at being funny. It wasn't funny at
Yeah,
all.
it wasn't funny, but
I was
it's close
multitasking.
enough. Yeah.
Close enough. You get the idea. Anyway, so let's circle back here, and guys, we've been wanting to get this story out here and kind of tell this for a while. We told it early on, and we didn't realize kind of the significance of it back when we originally started down this road. But originally, I think where we'll start off is, and the reason I brought up the Cypress District, because if the police jury is so willing to take over the library, why did they not consider doing the same thing with the Cypress District? You know,
Right.
if why didn't they consider doing that? But no, heck no, they
Well,
can't do that.
the Cypress District has, and I'm not going to get on my soapbox because I don't have the voice for it tonight, but the Cypress District does have a little bit of insulation around it, and it's not as
It
much money.
does.
It's not as much money.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you Rex have shown the money and the creep in salaries over a long period of time, and as I understand it, the police jury has articulated their concerns, and one of their rationales for trying to take over the library system as a creep in salaries and a creep in money and expenditures and the like. But let's go back in time just a little bit as we tell this story. And Bill Altimus was previously the administrator of the parish, and as you know, they now I think it was 2 shows ago, we got a tip on, Proton Mail, about that the parish manager, Butch Ford, that, you know, he was appointed to be the parish administrator. And I think that was January 19th, 22. And obviously, yeah, obviously, nobody on the police jury took the time to look up the fact that you had to be a resident of Bossier Parish to be the parish administrator.
Yeah, I
And
mean, it's pretty clear.
pretty clear. Now, the police jury dang sure didn't, mince any words about that you had to be, because the law said and the rules say or what have you, that you got to be a resident of the parish when it comes to sitting on the parish little board. They didn't have any, they that rule. In fact, I mean, I think I calculated it up. It was a couple of weeks. They were on top of it, bam, and they were removing people. But when it comes to Butch
Little old
Ford,
ladies, by the way.
hold up, no, we can't do that. So let's see here. You got cut 9 or cut 10?
I think that is cut 9.
Okay. So in cut 10, I think I got where they made the parish administrator right there. It was in that meeting for 1 year. They appointed him for 1 year. And so that would have been around January of 22, I think. So, again, you see right there, parish administrator for a 1-year term, Butch Ford.
Right.
And so here come January, they're going to have to either reappoint or remove him. Now, keep in mind again, they removed library board members for not being, in compliance with the law. They removed them within weeks.
Right.
They of weeks of supposedly being brought to know the fact that you had to be. They said they didn't know, but now they know, and then within weeks they're removing them.
Right.
So go to cut 11. Then
All right.
and we showed these in a previous show, but we're kind of trying to catch you guys up so you know where we're coming from. A lot of people complain that we don't. They jump in a show, they don't know what we're talking about, and they're kind of left behind.
Yeah.
There's the law that actually states right there that you got to be, a resident of the parish. Right there, black and white.
Black and white.
Then if we go to cut 13,
let's see if we can put cut Wait, I've lost my track here. Cut 13. Got it. All right, hold on.
Now,
Well, let's see. Hold on. There we go. Okay.
yeah, so as you can see, I mean, formerly Butch Ford was previously registered in Caddo Parish. Now, the show that we reported on this was that week of October the 21st. October the 21st, I think, was a Thursday or a Friday. We did our show on that Tuesday. Well, lo and behold, you see that October 21st registration date? Joe Edward Ford changed his voter registration to Bossier Parish in Elm Grove.
Imagine that.
And I don't want to throw a rock at Stephanie Agee. I love her to death, but I mean, I'm kind of wondering here. I'm scratching my head just a little bit. I mean, is he really a resident of Bossier Parish? Now, it is alleged that at this address that he suddenly registered to vote at, that is where his daddy lives in South Bossier. And I drive by that location, or I have, working on a well down there. I mean, we may have the parish DOT people chasing me down and my trucks and stuff. I mean, I look forward to that payback coming, but you know what? Here we are.
Right.
So that I don't know. What do y'all think? October the 21st. Now all of a sudden we change our voter registration.
Yeah, now that a little light is being shown on his voting registration habits.
Is the good law following, police jury? I mean, they've got a lawyer sitting up there on the police jury. I mean, I'm wondering, is that lawyer that sits on the police jury? Is that lawyer, do they think this is in the spirit of the law? I'm just wondering. I mean, is this actually, because Rex, I may be wrong, but if I recall correctly, there were some lawsuits not too long ago talking about residency of individuals, qualifying for offices,
Yeah,
in Bossier. And
yeah, the name Jason Brown comes to mind. We have one of those. So,
I think, if I recall correctly, there was a judge that sat up in Benton that made the determination that the quantity of utility usage was a factor in determining whether or not a person was a registered, an actual person that lived at a residence in Bossier or not. Now, in this case,
look, maybe Butch was tired of having to drive all the way from Bossier back over to Caddo Parish to use his own restroom. And so he's been going to his daddy's house, using the restroom, thus using the utilities. Therefore, he can be a voter in Bossier Parish. Maybe it's as simple as that.
Yeah, but we follow the rules in Bossier, and we follow the law to the T. We don't cut no corners here, Rex. That's not how the police jury rolls. So obviously, I think there would be water usage and utility usage there. So what other factors should legally be considered? Well, I understand things like homestead exemption, and I mean, maybe if you're a business owner, maybe that's something as well too. Maybe where actually do you show that your business? If you have a business, where would you show that as being the domicile of it? And go to cut 14, and we'll show that.
All right, let's see if we can find cut 14. Let's get rid of that one.
Oh, what do we have here?
Well, let's see.
I think this may be a business that Joe Ford, that had the former address that Joe E. Ford Jr. was registered to vote at on the Grassy Knoll Drive, was a member of. Look at there. The most recent report was January of 2022. This
Very
year.
Interesting. Well, maybe he's just confused.
maybe he is confused. And
I mean,
yeah, you guys, I mean, look, Juliana Parks, yes, she is a lawyer. Maybe she has objected. Maybe she has said something, or maybe she hasn't, and maybe she's okay with this. Maybe she's just going along with that. And I don't know. I mean, maybe she can speak to it.
maybe so. I mean, but it's very confusing to me. So, well, I guess it is probably confusing to Butch Ford.
Yeah, so cut 15. I'm not sure on that one. I don't remember.
Yeah, we'll put it up there anyway. No telling what it is. Oh,
Well, interestingly, the address that is listed for, where his registration is, it's the ownership is listed as a business by the name of Modular Space Corporation. That is what we could find, and we tried to reach out to this company or what have you out of Pennsylvania, actually, and couldn't get anybody there. So maybe the property was sold, maybe it's a rental property, maybe there's something there, but the address and the property is not even a company that, I mean, it doesn't have his name on it. Maybe it does now, maybe it just hadn't been recorded yet. Don't know.
yeah, maybe he just bought the property. Like a few days ago.
So where exactly is his homestead exemption? And, where is his utilities paid? I mean, his business is still located or identified as being at, his address on Grassy Knoll. I mean, are any of the police jurymen asking these questions? Or any of the police jurymen, where are they at? Because they sure were somewhere when it come to the library a while back ago, especially when it came to a little lady by the name of Miss Logan, who's a long time, resident of Halton and the area, kind of on the east side of our parish, and it's been around for a long while, and I think very respected. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would think so.
So let's not make this up. Let's go to the video and let's take everybody in a walk down memory lane on the replay.
Let's see here. Give me just a second. And then make sure I get the right video pulled up. Let's see. That's 2022. 10/21/2020. Where are we at? There we go. That's the Carolyn Fowler Logan one,
Correct.
Right? Okay. Let's see. I'm going to hit live review. And let's do this. All right. Okay, here we go. So, cue number 1. On October 7th, 2020, an email was sent to the Library Control Board wanting to know her address from the police jury. So let's set this up. So this is, if I'm correct, Duke, or correct me if I'm wrong, this is when they basically canned Carolyn Fowler Logan from the library board. Is that?
Yeah, that's right. And you'll have to listen. And the reason we're going to go through this, and a lot of you may be bored with it, a lot of you may not, but you need to have the background to understand when we get to the end of this why the police jury is doing what they're doing. And basically, it's a CYA operation, in our opinion. And yeah, some of them can say they weren't there to be a part of all of this, but they're certainly aiding and abetting the CYA operation now. And you guys need to know it. And you need to understand it from beginning to end.
Here we go.
On October 2nd, 2020, an email was sent to Ms. Heather McEntee, Director of the Libraries for Bossier Parish Libraries, requesting verification of Ms. Carol Logan's residence And then on October 8th, 2020, Ms. McAtee emailed stating that Ms. Logan's residence is located in Dorleen. And then on October 12th, Ms. Logan contacted me stating that Ms. McAtee directed her to contact the police jury office to provide information pertaining to her residence. She stated that she lives at 280 Tadpole Road, Dorling, Louisiana, 71023. She further stated that she is a taxpayer in Webster Parish and also owns property in Bossier Parish in which she pays taxes. And Ms. Logan stated that she has two daughters that live in Bossier Parish and spends a lot of time at their homes, but her residence is located in Webster Parish.
Pause it right there.
So, in 10 days of getting this supposed notice, and to all of you that are still here watching, yes, we know we're going to get up against Trump speaking right now. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we want to try to go to Trump speaking a little bit and show what he's saying?
Let's finish this. The main, we'll figure out the main gist of it a little bit.
Okay. So, in 10 days of getting this notice that Carolyn Fowler Logan doesn't live in the parish, police jury's on it. They're taking action. They got to get her removed. 10 days, guys. 10 days. I mean, we hadn't been on. We reported this back in October. We ain't been on. Today's the 15th. I mean, it's been well over that.
Yeah.
Well over that. Where's the police jury? And I seen the agenda, and I don't see it on the agenda to address the issue that they're in violation of the law with their parish administrator. Don't see it at all.
Yeah.
So, Miss Fowler, Miss Logan, she gets up there and she articulates. I mean, she served on the library board since 1983, Rex.
Yeah, since I was a little kid.
That was almost 37 years at that time. And what we know, it wasn't about money. It was no money at all. She had more money than Forrest. She had more money than Forrest Gump.
Right.
Right.
It wasn't about the money at all. Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, let's listen to her for a second. Let me hit play here.
Closer to the microphone.
Closer?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Carolyn Fowler Logan. I reside at 280 Tadpole Road, Dorleen, Louisiana 71023. I was appointed by the Bossier Parish Police Jury to serve on the library board in 1983. I was asked to serve the remainder of Mrs. Mahaffey's term. Having served 37 years, it's been one of the greatest honors I've received. I've been afforded the opportunity to make lasting friendships. Never once have I contemplated resigning from the board. My 81st birthday is November 4th. My plans include being a part of this tax-supported library system until 2030. I have grandchildren, you see. At a police jury meeting here in 1996, we board members were asked for our home addresses. I had moved to Dorleen May 1st, 1996, after the death of my dad. His wish was to leave this home to me. It was said at that meeting by police juryman Hank Meacham, "Lady, we don't care where you live." And I took that as a compliment, which I felt like I deserved. I've continued to serve this parish on the library board for the last 24 years. I own roughly 23 acres of land in Bossier Parish. Consequently, I do pay my share of tax. My heart is in this community. Thank you for your time.
All right. So jump to the 425 mark and let's cut to the chase. I mean, we could go to the a couple of cuts between that. Glenn Benton, I think, is the first guy to take his pound of flesh. He jumps out there and immediately moves to appoint, one of the other police jury members to replace her. I mean, he's the first guy that jumps out there. But let's go to what the parish attorney. Now, remember earlier we brought up the Cypress District. Rex, you will remember this, but a lot of y'all may not remember. Remember, the parish attorney is the one that jumped up there and said, hey, we're going to give, remember him saying it, that we're going to give you what you want. The district attorney's office is going to sue on the dual office holding Robert Berry.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, that's what he said.
Yeah, so 425 mark, jump to there.
All right, here we go.
How does that work, Patrick, where your homestead exemption residency is?
Well, the issue is to be a library board member, you have to be a resident of Bossier Parish.
And the reason I brought that up because I lost a good board member in Fire District 1. He lived in the fire district and then he moved to Bossier, so we had to take him off. And so at this time, and I sure appreciate your service, Ms. Logan, but I just feel that you, and I know your heart's been in Bossier Parish your whole life, but I just think at this time we need to keep someone on the board that's in Bossier Parish.
Y'all heard that. Keep someone on the board that's in Bossier Parish. Now,
Rex, do you know who is the ex officio member of the library board? Do you know who that is?
Maybe the police jury president or something. I don't know.
Or the parish administrator. I'm pretty confident.
Oh, well.
Oh, wait a minute. But he doesn't live in the parish.
Yeah, at all.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute.
Well, except when he's going to using his dad's restroom and some utilities, I guess.
Okay, so one law says to be the parish administrator, you have to live in the parish. And then the parish administrator the parish attorney says right there to be on the library board, you have to live in the parish. But the parish library board law says that the parish administrator will be the ex officio member of the library board. But the parish administrator the parish attorney just said you have to live in the parish to be that guy. So isn't that like two laws right there?
It's some weird corruption of dual office holding. I don't know. It's got to be somewhere in there. But the point is,
because
you're right.
Before we're done here, I'm got a sneaking suspicion we're going to lose count of the number of laws. And I mean, look, it ain't like, Jackson's on his own up here as the parish attorney. He's got an attorney sitting there as a police juryman that should be helping him. But again, in all fairness, maybe she has expressed those, reservations as an attorney. Maybe she's expressed those reservations vocally at a police jury meeting for all the public to hear, and those contradictions in law. Maybe she's read that representing that district. I don't know. Or maybe she hasn't. Maybe she just hasn't had time. I don't know.
Maybe she just doesn't give a damn. That's the problem.
She may not. Maybe she is just trying to get along to get along. Good old boy. And don't we call that the GOB network, right?
Yeah, and I guess we could say good old gal network to add a little bit into it, since we definitely have a female member of the good old boy network.
Yeah, so jump to the 645 mark, because there's a really great question, a simple question that's put up right here.
Is there any other reason that would enter into this?
Other than she's not a resident of Bossier Parish.
But she does own property. And she does serve her community.
They're looking at each other like, what? What?
Okay.
Anyone else?
You can pause it. They move on. They just basically dismiss this lady.
They ignore the old lady, little old lady. Let me rephrase that nicely.
Yeah, they ignore. Is there any other reason for this. She owns property. Well, maybe Butch Ford owns property. Maybe not. So anyway, I'm looking here how far.
It's just a sham. I mean, I'll put it straightforward. It's a sham. It's nothing but hypocritical on the part of Patrick Jackson and all the rest of them sitting up there, and they want control. And it's funny because they already have it, by the way, but they want control of the library budget. They have to approve the library budget, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, as the police jury, but they want more direct control of it.
Okay. I got somebody that corrected us that we may be in error. The police jury president that is an ex officio member of the library board, not the parish administrator. Okay,
And
so we can take one.
I would like to say I was correct about that.
Okay, well then I may have been wrong. I was wrong. So we'll pull one violation of the law off.
Yeah.
We'll pull one violation of the law off. So let's go to 927, and Taxman Rimmer has a. Let me see if I can join that live review, and I'm going to play that now.
I'd like to say something to you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, maybe you need to play it.
Yeah, all right, let me try it.
I'd like to say something to you.
Go ahead.
And I say this to Ms. Logan, Karen, and Ms. Cherry. In no way is this meant to be an affront. We have a great appreciation. Carolyn has been an excellent board member, as was Ms. Cherry. When we got involved, I believe you were the president, Ms. Cherry, the first year we were on the oversight committee. But just the last meeting.
I'm sorry, I had to stop that. I don't know.
Okay.
I think I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it double.
Are you hearing it double? All right.
Yeah. So let's jump to 1023. You go ahead and jump it to 1023, and let's play what the conclusion that the parish attorney had to say.
Okay, here we go.
And I assure you, it's in no way an affront. It's just that we have to do our best to follow the rules, and that's the way you are. I understand. I can't speak for jurors back in 1996, but you heard it from our parish attorney. That's the rule, and so we're going to follow the rule. And I believe, if the majority of the jury, I believe we will, we'll vote that too. But I want you to know, I'm requesting that a letter of appreciation be sent to Mr. Logan, suitable for Frank,
letter of appreciation
for all the years of great service to our Bossier Parish library system.
We appreciate you right up until the point we're booting you.
It's the rules. We gotta follow the rules.
Right. Except when it applies to them, and then the heck with the rules.
Yeah. Well, that was Rimmer. Let's jump to 1023 mark, and here we go.
And I'm sure it's in no way an affront. It's just that we.
Okay, you played that. I don't know why it didn't do right, but anyway, we'll move on from there.
Anyway, so that gets us firmly down the rabbit hole of the library and the situation there, and it's gotten worse because, like Duke said earlier in the show, you got to go through this part to understand how hypocritical what's going on with the library now is. This was 2 years ago. As a matter of fact, it was like our fourth show. We actually covered this.
Yeah, because, we kind of didn't know the weight of it at the time, but what we did know was here you had a lady who had been serving for, close to 38 years, of volunteering for the library system, and putting her heart into it. And the police jury just cast that aside like it was nothing. It was nothing. And all the police juries before them had no problem with the fact that she didn't live in the parish. They didn't have a problem with it. But all of a sudden, for some unknown reason, this police jury, they did have a problem. And they pinned their hat or hung their hat on, it's the rules, it's the law, we got to follow it.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it loud and clear. So fast forward to today. And oh, by the way, we showed it earlier. The law says to be the parish administrator, you got to live in the parish. Well, guess what? Their parish administrator doesn't live in the parish, hasn't lived in the parish. His homestead exemption is in Caddo Parish. And after our show, when we reported it, he attempts to move his voter registration to Bossier Parish. So I'm just wondering, is he attempting to commit election fraud? Is the Bossier Parish police jury a party to that? Or are they condoning that? I'm wondering, Rex. I mean, I don't know for a fact if he's attempting to commit election fraud. I don't know, but I'm just guessing out loud. If his homestead exemption is still in Caddo and his business is still registered in Caddo, he's still paying water bills, utilities that are items that a court in Bossier Parish used in other court, rulings as recently as a year before kind of all of this. I don't know. I mean, I'm just wondering if the public thinks, what do y'all think?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of this rabbit hole to go down too, by the way. So,
but it begs the question, Rex, why the double standard? Why is there such a double standard, and why?
Because Butch
obviously
likes to read books. That's why.
Well, I don't think.
Now we're let's see, we're gonna get on the puppy killer business here in a minute, and then start wrapping the show up. But so he's possibly, allegedly, looks like might be committing some sort of voter registration fraud. He's apparently violated at least a couple of statutes. He doesn't like puppies, and it's got to be because he likes books, though. He really wants to read books. He wasn't allowed to read enough books as a child.
Now, Rex. Now, there's some people that say that this is political retribution.
Oh, really?
You didn't know that? Yeah, there's some people that say this is political retribution. And, as it turns out, there was a little bit more to all this story with Miss Logan than what we heard right there in that sound clip and what we saw at that police jury meeting.
Didn't there involve some dirt or sewage and dirt or something?
It's funny that you bring that up because, as a matter of fact, now folks may not that live in Bossier here and are following all this, you may not have realized there's this little thing called the water and sewer district thing for the parish that the police jury was trying to get off the ground and get going, right?
Right.
Did you know that? Yeah, you knew that. And interestingly, did you know that Miss Logan was said to have owned a water and a sewer district thing that actually was one that the police jury was wanting to buy, get control of, or to attain. Did you know that?
That sounds interesting.
Now, I knew you knew that because you and I have talked about it. So I'm doing my thing here. So she owned this sewer system near Dogwood, and the parish was attempting to acquire it. Now, sources tell us that she was opposing the parish's attempts to take control of the sewer system and the water. But the parish had to take control of it to be able to make the sewer system go through. Now, everybody's kind of wondering, well, how the heck does a water and sewer system for a residential subdivision have anything to do with a library thing? Well, again, we describe this as political retribution. That's what sources are telling us. The political retribution part was because she was standing in their way, and this was just a basic get you back. So when Doug Rimmer said, this is no affront to you, Miss Logan, we appreciate your service. But if you would have, what he should have said was that if you had just rolled over and sold us your sewer system without objecting, then we wouldn't have had to have kicked you off the library board.
Oh,
But
that's
he
what he
didn't say
really,
that.
yeah, that's what he really meant, but he didn't say.
But look, he's a great guy. He would never call opponents of his cockroaches and things like. He would never do nothing like that. He's such a great guy. He would never negatively
Never
cast
try
light
to
on people.
raise
He wouldn't,
never try to raise taxes, never do anything.
and then deny it and say that's
Right.
not what I said. That's
Even
not
though
true.
he
When
literally said it, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, only people like us would lie about things like that and say that.
Yeah. Just
So
like we would be lying if we said, something about trying to do a, dirt grab, sewage company grab, I don't know, whatever.
yeah, so interestingly, we were kind of digging through the archives as a little bit of that information was flowing in, and we've kind of been researching this. So if we go to, I put in the notes, I put cute 12. If we can go to, and I hope this is the right one, cute 12. So this is the minutes of a police jury meeting, and I can't see that good enough, and I hate to make you try to read that. So let me find my cut 12 and
Yeah, so while you're trying to find that real quick, just to brief everybody, this is the minutes from the Bossier Parish Police Jury meeting back in September the 5th, as a matter of fact, of 2018. So time hopping again.
yeah, so we're going backwards here a little bit, and this was before Miss Logan was pulled off, and we're trying to vet this stuff a little bit, and interestingly, right out of the gate, you see on this meeting, here's the minutes. We couldn't get the video, and but we were able to get the minutes, and in the minutes here, and Debbie Logan Gold is she is the daughter of Miss Logan, who was on the library board, who they summarily removed. And the comments in here are pretty amazing. And I'm going to I'm going to go ahead and start reading these, Rex.
Go ahead.
Miss Debbie Logan Gold, 8600 Dogwood Trail, Halton, Louisiana, stated that the parish previously committed to purchasing Highland Utilities and asked why the parish has not followed through with the purchase. Mr. Benton stated that there was discussion with Mr. Bruce Logan of possibly purchasing Highland Utilities at some point in the future, but the parish never committed to purchasing the utility company. Miss Logan Gold stated that she is an interest holder in Highland Utilities and that Mr. Bruce Logan only serves as a president and has no interest in the utility company. She stated that she is unsure how Mr. Logan became president of the utility company. Mr. Benton stated that the parish currently does not have the funds to purchase Highland Utilities. She stated that an article was published in the Bossier Press Tribune several years ago, which stated that the parish had plans to purchase Highland Utilities and feels that there is a certain reason why the parish has not done so. Mr. Benton stated that the parish does not have the funds to purchase the utility company at this time. Mr. Ford stated, interesting, here's Mr. Ford, parish engineer at that time, that he has spoken with Mr. Logan regarding the purchase of Highland Utilities because the Logan family still owns a portion of Dogwood South where a well and tank exist. He stated that he requested that the parish be notified if the Logan family ever decided to sell this portion, which would assist with supporting the parish's system. He further stated that the parish has not made any formal commitment to purchase Highland Utilities. Miss Logan Gold stated that the parish should not be speaking with Mr. Bruce Logan pertaining to the purchase of this system because she has ownership in Highland Utilities. Mr. Ford stated that Mr. Logan has always been his point of contact for this utility company. Ms. Logan Gold stated that she has never been included in any discussions pertaining to Highland Utilities. Mr. Ford stated that he will add Ms. Logan Gold as an additional point of contact for this utility company. Ms. Logan Gold stated that she would like to have all information pertaining to any present and past discussions regarding Highland Utilities. Ms. Logan Gold stated that she was asked to come to the police jury office on December 21st, 2011 for a meeting where property was transferred, but she was not represented by counsel during this meeting. She stated that her father, Mr. Don Logan, passed away the following day. Ms. Logan Gold stated that she was requested to sign a document granting a temporary right-of-way. She further stated that she was emaciated and in shock at the time due to her father's failing health and was trying to return home to be with her father. Ms. Logan Gold stated that she was unaware of what she was doing at the time, and there are some documents in that transfer that did not require her signature. Is everybody kind of following what happened or what was happening here?
Railroad.
It kind of sounds like it. Mr. Benton asked if Miss Logan Gold is claiming that documents were not signed legally. Miss Logan Gold stated that she was asked to be present at a meeting in the police jury office for the sole purpose for closing the sale of Red Chute Utilities. She stated that as she walked into the meeting, she was asked to sign a document granting a temporary right-of-way, and she was unaware of what she was signing due to her mental state at the time because of her father just dying. She further stated that it appears that she unknowingly signed away her sisters and her interest in all water and sewer utility income. Mr. Jackson stated that the police jury meeting is not the proper venue to discuss detailed legal issues and requested that she schedule a time to meet with him and Mr. Ford to review all documents.
Yeah, I bet he didn't want to discuss it at the public meeting.
No, because it would be in minutes like this right here.
Right.
He stated that to his knowledge, Mr. John Hodge, attorney at law, handled the closing for the purchase of Red Chute Utilities. Miss Logan Gold presented several documents that were signed on December 21st, 2011, wherein 30 acres was transferred into Mr. Bruce Logan's entities, and she is unclear how this was accomplished. Miss Logan Gold asked about a bridge across a dam in Dogwood subdivision that was constructed by Mr. Bruce Logan at the request of the police jury. Mr. Benton stated that Mr. Logan built an access roadway across the spillway at the request of the Dogwood Homeowners Association, not the parish. Miss Logan Gold stated that she has documents which state that the access road was not built for the Homeowners Association, but for Adner Utilities. Mr. Benton stated that he is unsure what documents are being referred to by Miss Logan Gold pertaining to Adner Utilities. He stated that the parish does have a right-of-way across the access road in order to access a sewer oxidation pond. He requested that she schedule a time with Mr. Jackson and Mr. Ford to further review the documents and obtain any further information pertaining to this matter. Miss Logan Gold requested additional copies of documents. She stated that Mr. Bruce Logan accessed her property and removed dirt to build the access road, and that the parish paid Mr. Logan for the dirt. Mr. Jackson requested that Miss Logan's please schedule a meeting with him and Mr. Ford to further discuss this matter.
In other words, get it off the minutes.
So, as it would turn out, Miss Logan, that was on the library board, and Miss, Logan Gold here, her daughter, apparently they were fighting the parish on, taking control of this. And as, we understand, the parish was, as we understand it, buying the dirt from, I guess another family member off of property that had been owned by, Miss Logan and the daughter. And the parish was actually buying the dirt or paid for it, is what we're told. I don't know that to be 100% accurate, but that's my understanding. So fast forward down the road here just a little bit, and all of a sudden, a lady who has served on the library board for 30 something years, and as Doug Rimmer says, it's no affront, Miss Logan, but the rules are the rules. We got to follow the rules. You got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go. So, and she's out of there.
Yeah, she's out of there. Well, and that, like you said before, that we let off one of our first few shows with that information, not realizing at that point in time how much further down the rabbit hole the police jury was going with this. So, very, very interesting.
Yeah, so fast forward, going further in depth into the library thing. So obviously, was it political retribution? Was it not? I mean, I don't know. You be the judge. Obviously, there was a motive. If Miss Logan and her daughter were fighting the police jury on taking over, the water and sewer systems, obviously there was a motive for retribution there. And, so the question becomes, what about the library and the sewage system? Because as time has moved on here now, I think there is a connection, because the police jury has now sought to, well, they've not sought, they have completely taken over the library system. Now, a lot of you may not realize this, but you passed a millage to fund the library system. I think it was approximately 7 mills, which is a pretty good amount of mills to support the library system. I remember it. I voted for it. I think it's a great thing. I supported the library system. Always have, and I think I always will. I gotta question that now. But why all of a sudden would the police jury be so willing to jump in and, chop the heads off of everybody involved in the library system and take control of it? Well, I think it goes back to, even before Miss Logan, and it goes back to the water and the sewer stuff. And, in the notes here, they're kind of out of order a little bit. Whew, it's gonna be tough. But so we've had a lot of people send us information, and maybe this needs to be a 2-part. Maybe we need to take off. Maybe we need to finish this part, the next show, and conclude that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of information to process with all of this. It is still ongoing, by the way. We've had reports of course, the social media account being taken over by the police jury now, and all sorts of things, and removing comments. We've had some reports of that. We need to dig into that. I mean, there's plenty more down this rabbit hole. And also, I do want to mention before we wrap up for tonight that I'm not kidding about being the puppy killer. So the deal with this is another rabbit hole that we've got to go down too. Basically, there is a guy that took over, and I may not be saying this exactly correct, but there's basically a guy that took over animal control for the parish about a year ago. He has recruited the help of a lot of the animal shelter type private groups and all that, and they have been doing their thing and donating a lot of food and that sort of thing and whatnot to the parish animal shelter. And they've been able to rehome like about 100 dogs or something, as far as we can tell, over the last year. That's a savings of about $75 per dog that the Bossier Parish Police Jury was having to pay the city animal shelter to kill the dogs. I'm not even going to be nice and say euthanize and all that, and killing the dogs. Well, apparently, that has come to a screeching halt, or has been, handed down by Butch Ford and his entourage or whatever. To go back to sending them to the Bossier City Animal Shelter. So we're looking into that. So I can't say that Butch Ford's a puppy killer yet, but well, it's kind of looking that way.
Well, real quick, go to cut 16, and before we end this show, Ann Price says Trump's running. Is he running as a Republican, or what is he running as? That would be my next question. So
that is the real question. Let me get cut 16 up there.
So I'm going to plant a little seed in you guys and in your mind. So, here is the debt service for the police jury, and we're going to finish this part up next show, and we'll conclude it, the rest of the story as it pertains to the library. But as you will note right here, you see kind of the debt service payment totals run about 2002, 3, 4, 5, up to 2005 and 6, about $4 million. But then if you notice in 2020, or I'm sorry, I misspoke, 2025, 2026, I'm still living in the past. Golly. Okay, but if you notice in 2027, look at what the debt service payment jumps up to. $16 million for the next approximately 10 years. So now that's, what the majority of that money is for? That's for an underwater sewer district that your police jury has went out of their way to try to put forward. Now, they can refinance these bonds. They can. But what does that have to do with the library? What does that have to do with the library? Well, we will tie all that together next show.
Very, very intriguing. It's always about the money. Always.
It's always about the money.
All right. Well, I hate to cut us a little bit short, but my voice has about had it. So.
Well, we appreciate everybody watching. And we are going to get back on track. Rex is going to get his voice back. And you know what? Next show, we look forward to having all of you here. And we look forward to giving you the second half of this show. And we're sorry that we're human too. We don't espouse ourselves to be better or worse than anybody. And hey, Rex, I seen you holding something up earlier.
Oh, yes. Can't get out. Let's see if looky there. Right. Let me see if I can get it in there. Look at that. Coffee mug. Hello.
That's right. So, and we'll also next show. I was just thinking about it. I looked in the comments and something prompted me. But First Church, we will have time to have done a little bit of processing on that information that one of our watchers. I would credit them for sending that information to us, but I don't know if they want credit for that or not. If they do, maybe next show we'll give it to them if they want. But sending us the First Church information, and we'll get that processed and sent out to you. And again, any information that you guys have that you want to send to us anonymously, Proton Mail, it's there. You know how to find it, and we're going to be back on schedule. And I'm going to have to practice this little end of the show routine because you do it all the time and you do it so good. I don't ever do it. Well, I'm an amateur here. I'm like, don't know what I'm doing.
Practice makes perfect anyway. So, All right. Well, I appreciate you taking up the slack as usual, Mr. Lowry, because my voice is definitely not up to par, and pretty much I've run out of gas for the evening, so to speak. So we'll just hit end show, and well, we'll see everybody next Tuesday night. How
Yes,
about
sir.
that? All right.
Have a good evening. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.